sassy. I'm like, jeez.
Right, no. I never get behind those people that, like, break everything down. I like reading about it just because I can seem cultured in another conversation with somebody that does know a lot.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the movies, I just like watching them.
Me too.
I just like Paul Rudd. I just like Chris Evans. I just like the actors that are in it.
But you have to watch them all. I mean, don't you? I'm behind on my Captain Planet. Who's the guy with the... I'm behind on my Captain America, and I feel like it all kind of ties in. Like, there was one movie, Brandon, help me out, where at the credits, somebody came back, and I had no idea who this guy was. Well, apparently he was in the first one, the Winter Soldier or something. I never saw the Winter Soldier, so it threw me off. I don't know, man. I like it, but I'm out of the loop.
I think I've seen, like, the Avengers. That's it. I mean, like, I haven't seen I'd like to see Black Panther, but I haven't, like, I'm the same way. I haven't seen Ant-Man. I haven't seen the individual movies. I've seen a few.
Yeah.
I always had the funny bit of dressing up like Captain America and going to the movie theater, and when they're like, "Oh, what do you want to see?" and just say A Quiet Place, or just like, just don't go to a different movie dressed in character.
Right. No, to answer your question, though, I think that's a ranking issue. It's Captain Planet, then Captain America, and then I think Captain Hook.
The captions,
they should do one where they all come together and fight.
This is Marvel, not DC, and DC's Batman and Superman and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's Marvel's better, right? Considered better.
That's the debate, I guess. Is that a lot of people? There are some people that think the DC comics are better, but the DC movies are worse than the other.
I was gonna say I don't know that there's much of a debate. Any DC movie I've seen, with the exception of Wonder Woman, has been pretty bad.
Was really good.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Well, Wonder Woman was the standout, which kind of lends itself as like, all right, Wonder Woman, that they didn't put too much behind going into. Ended up being like the knockout as far as like Batman versus Superman and all the other DC movies that they put so much effort into. And then Wonder Woman, they're just like, all right, we'll put this little thing together. But it built up so much steam during like the Me Too movement and the equal pay
for sure.
stuff that everybody got behind it so hard. And not just like the fans, but the producers that made the movie, the actors, the writers, all that. So much went into the movie that it ended up coming out making all the other DC movies look like trash.
Now, is the Christopher Nolan, is that DC? Is that something different?
That is still DC because it was Batman.
Is Christopher Nolan the one that
he did
fell
like
off the horse and died?
No, you're thinking of Bo Bridges.
Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Christopher. Christopher Nolan is the one that did the Dark Knight trilogy with Heath Slater and
because those movies are good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Everybody
they're still
loved
considered
those
subpar compared to
no. Those are like the standout. Those are in their own thing because
category. Okay, that's what
because as far as the DC universe or cinematic universe goes, that starts with like Ben Affleck as Batman and Henry Cavill as Superman.
Okay.
After Dark Knight. So Dark Knight, the trilogy, is its own little subsection over here that you're not allowed to critique or criticize.
And that's done, right?
Yeah. Okay. That's why like Christopher Nolan was like, I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna do my thing, and then I'm out.
Okay.
And he's come in as like a helper on the other DC stuff. Just like, here, this is how I was successful, let me nurture you on into the right direction, but hasn't stepped in fully yet on any.
How do they address, going back to Marvel, I believe, how do they address the different Spider-Man? Like, there's been 3 different actors, right? Toby, Garfield, and there's another kid, right?
Tom Holland.
So there's been 3 separate things. Which one is the GOAT? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
right now, yeah.
Was Tobey Maguire in the universe?
Tobey Maguire is not considered part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
even though he portrayed Spider-Man.
Yes, because from what I'm led to understand, and there's probably going to be somebody out there going, "No, it's more of this." As far as I'm led to understand, the Marvel Cinematic Universe starts. Not in chronological order, but from the time they were made, Iron Man forward.
Okay.
And I believe the Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield was made after Iron Man, but since that went the way it did, and before they could tie that into the rest of the other Marvel movies, that's just pushed the same way that the original Batman with Michael Keaton
doesn't count
with
there's a time.
Current.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. So
what about Seabiscuit? Where does that fall in?
Oh, that's equestrian.
I enjoy the comic book. It's better.
The graphic novel before they got.
I feel like I need to explain myself. When Chris said Garfield referring to the Spider-Man, all I thought was the orange cat.
And it's funny when he reacted to that. I'm like, he's thinking of the cat. Right. He's not thinking of the actor Andrew Garfield.
Because I don't know.
He is instantly on the cat. Yeah.
And I was face deep in a lasagna in my burger. It's okay. We all have our things.
Kudos for you acknowledging that, because I knew it.
I just felt like somebody's gonna be like, "Why do you like? That's just his name.
Why is that funny? Show me your Garfield tattoo."
Okay.
Jake got super quiet, and he was like, "Don't say Garfield. Don't say Garfield. Don't say Garfield."
Cat played Spider-Man.
Typecasting. That was.
That's a funny visual, though, right? The cat playing Spider-Man.
Not for us, but for you, it obviously was.
I kept looking over, and Jake is just...
You're going to wake up in the middle of the night laughing.
There's an open mic tonight. I'm going to open with that.
Garfield is Spider-Man.
Right, guys?
Right. You know what I'm saying? No.
All right.
You're like, oh, I guess you have to listen to the podcast. But we...
So...
Yeah, go ahead. Take it. You got it.
Why is Chris here?
Because we're friend of the podcast.
To show off that sweet Hawaiian shirt on a medium where nobody can see his Hawaiian shirt. Chris is here because we had a little contest to give away Andrew WK tickets. And Chris sent us in a story. It was nice of you.
Yeah.
It was very nice. Like, there was nothing behind it, no ulterior motive. You're just like, hey, I got this story. Check it out. And then we read the story. Or
we listened to it.
Yeah, you sent it in a voicemail.
Yeah, I did.
And my phone takes the voicemail and then computes it into text.
Okay.
So at first I read it because I was at work. And the name it gave me was not your name. So I was like, sweet, we got somebody that I've never heard of listening to the podcast. Let's see if I can bring it up. Yeah, it comes up in text form. It says, hello, my name is Chris Lincoln. I was like, Chris Lincoln, okay. Sounds like a sturdy name.
It's a great stage name, man.
Yeah. And then I went back and listened to, because reading the text, of course, it messed up your last name. Mm-hmm. So there were other parts of the story where it thought it heard something and typed out something completely. Yeah. I go, this doesn't make any damn sense. So I had to listen to it. I was like, it's not Chris Lincoln at all.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
If my name was Chris Lincoln and I became a comic, I'd probably feel a little uncomfortable doing theater shows because of Lincoln. Remember?
Damn it. You
too soon. You got shot.
Took a shot in the dark.
That was the first thing I thought of, because you and Austin did that show down in Springfield.
Oh yeah,
and then you had
crazy.
the pictures.
Yeah,
and I was like, "There's something going on here."
Right.
That was meant. Your phone knows something. Chris, you want to tell the story?
Yeah,
because we got to hear it.
Yeah, the story was like craziest party, correct?
Yeah,
right.
Which, I mean, in college I had a lot of fun. I was the first person in my family to go to college. So I basically had no guidelines or foundations on my parents didn't go, my older brother didn't go. So I'm there
telling you like,
no, exactly. So I was basically figuring it out on my own. Mm-hmm. And initially I was nervous and I was homesick, and then I started to loosen up. And I went to a small school called Cornell College in Mount Vernon, Iowa, which is close to Iowa City, but still in its own little community. So when you did do something, when you did have fun, it's kind of everybody knew about it.
Right.
So to kind of summarize the whole situation, in the dorms, we were becoming a problem, I guess you could say. We were throwing too many parties, getting in trouble, and we were basically on double secret probation that we could do this no more. And so instead of moving out or going someplace else, we got the bright idea to rent a U-Haul. We rented a U-Haul truck from a Cedar Rapids U-Haul company, and my buddy just drove us around in the back seat of this U-Haul, in the back trailer, covered trailer, and we just had a keg back there, and basically it was a mobile party. And
how'd you keep everything stabilized?
Do this?
We just did it one time. Okay. It felt incredibly unsafe on so many levels. Like even as a dumb 20-year-old, as a dumb kid, it still felt this is not right on a lot of different levels. And my friend was doing a good job of driving, and at one point I think he even got pulled over, and we just had to be incredibly quiet. He said he was helping his friend move into a dorm and stuff like that, but we would go bar hopping, and we basically and we called ourselves the movers, and we just came into different bars, and it was a fun time, but it was definitely a one and done. It was just, it did not feel right, but it was a cool experience.
Was your buddy who was driving, was he pissed? He's like, the one time we do this and I have to drive around?
he was on the basketball team, so he wasn't really much of a drinker, so and I think at one point, think of your average U-Haul truck, I guess, we had close to like 30 people just crammed back there. And it's funny because later on, I think you might have said this, that Jackass stole the idea of someone, because Jackass did a skit where they had all the guys in the backseat on roller skates, and they had a roller party, and it's just hilarious. Yeah. And that's, even though we were flat-footed, it was kind of like that every bump.
Did you guys have like couches in there, or were you just standing?
We did. I think we had a couple lawn chairs and stuff, but it was a fun experience. No one got hurt.
Yeah.
But just like I said, U-Haul and everyone involved, like in the whole, was just not a good idea. But at the time, it sounded like a great idea, and it was fun.
Have you told your parents this story?
Trust me, out of everything I've done, that would be just like, hey, Mom, I went to the bathroom today. Like, that's how, compared to all the other stuff I did in college, that was nothing.
They would have, like...
Yeah, they would have been like, oh, thank you, please do that more often. Please get a U-Haul and get in the bag.
You're telling us you had a DD.
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Very responsible of you.
So that was the one that came to mind, because I just thought it was creative and wasn't too... nothing... tremendously bad happened. So
no arrests or nobody died.
No, I had another situation. One of the buddies that was in the back, like I said, small town. He got really intoxicated. Decided it'd be funny to take someone's bike and throw it off a bridge on the train tracks.
That does sound fun.
Yeah.
And
sounds like a good time.
It stopped the train, which is like you don't do. You're not. That's a big no. And it was like it became like a federal thing, and his life was never quite the same. It definitely. And the guy that was train conductor. Does that sound right? The train engineer. He actually thought he hit someone, so he was like traumatized. He thought he hit someone's bike. So I didn't think that was a good party story.
No, that.
Yeah,
but I do remember at the point he was like, "Hey Chris, you want to come with me to do this?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember saying no and going someplace else, and I think that was a great decision.
For sure.
I would like to think I would have had enough common sense, like maybe we shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
But you never know, man. You get a couple of those Zimas in you. You get all riled up.
All right. So, end of the day, though, we brought you here, Chris, because we think your story is fantastic. And we want to give you the tickets to the Andrew WK concert.
Oh, that's thank you so much. Oh my gosh. That's really exciting because I did want to go.
Yeah.
And they were sold out. They sold out super fast. And I love Andrew WK. So is it Andrew?
No, I expected you with the WK, but he got with Andrew.
Yeah.
See, I knew my parents were like, you got to stop partying. It'll never pay off. And I'm like, actually, Mom.
Yeah.
Fast forward 15 years later.
Right.
It did pay off.
I'm going to a concert for a guy's name I can spell.
To Party, who only promotes party.
Right.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's exciting. Thank you.
Yeah. So I love this. I love being able to give stuff away. We should do this more often. Do you have anything in your house that we can give away? Like, you got like a table you want to raffle off?
No.
I met your cat. Where's your cat?
Yeah, you can have him.
You got like a picture of a cousin you don't care about? Like, and you're like, this is my cousin Ronnie. Have this picture.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I love that you're thinking about it, though. I love that you're considering it. Concert again is May 11th.
Oh, okay. You want a vacuum cleaner?
Yeah.
Oh, they suck.
Damn
you there? You guys
see it so quick.
Right. And I didn't see it coming. That's the worst part.
That's 15 years, 14 years experience.
Probably one of